So there we have it. The Nigeria squad list is out for the upcoming World Cup playoffs. They really weren't expecting to be in these. I think even the most diehard of Super Eagles fans were thinking maybe the World Cup dream was over. They even scheduled 2 friendlies against Colombia and Venezuela in November because they thought they were not going to be in these playoffs. They've had to cancel those friendlies. They're playing 1 World Cup playoff and maybe 2 if they beat Gabon as well, with both of those games taking place in Rabat in Morocco. We know the 24-man squad now that Eric Schell has picked, and it was a bit late, but there's a bit of a shambles in some of the other nations. I mean, look at Cameroon. What's going on there in the Cameroon camp? The coach there hasn't named the squad yet. The Cameroonian FA want him to go to Yaoundé to announce the squad. The coach has said no, he doesn't want to go to Yaoundé because they're not playing there. They're playing in Morocco anyway. Nigeria got their act together. They've got their list out. Goalkeepers, you expect them. Mobali's going to be the goalkeeper for sure. Okoye, Udinese. I remember when he was at Watford. He's been put back in the squad. I just remember one game. I think it was in the AFCON maybe, when Okoye was in goal and he dropped the ball. And I think since that game he's not really recovered. Nwabali, of course, was in goal for the AFCON run when Nigeria reached the final and nearly won the tournament last time out. So I suspect he'll be between the sticks still. Troost Okong continues to be named in that defence. Doesn't matter what club in the world he's playing here, and he's still very much a part of the plans. Bassey's there, he's a good player. Bright Osei Samuel's there. Your usual suspects are there. Awaziem, I don't think Awaziem was in the last squad. He's been put back in. Benjamin Fredericks and Sanusi is once again back in the squad. The left back fit enough to play for Nigeria. I've got to say, looking overall, the centre forward position is usually so strong for Nigeria, and we know how good Osimhen is, the top scorer in the Champions League at the time we're doing this. But there's a few centre forwards missing for Nigeria. You know, what's happened to Boniface? He had that really good season at Leverkusen. We all thought Boniface was going to go to Saudi. That never materialised. He ended up going on loan to another club in Germany, I think. And Boniface just can't get his place in the Nigeria squad. Same for Mofi. He's not in the squad. Ajuke's back in. I think it's been a year since Ajuke's been called up by Nigeria. It's been quite a long time. He's in. Obviously, your Moses Simons are going to be in. Your Ademola Lookman. Lookman's had a few problems with the coach at Atalanta, but he is so good. You have to have Lookman in the team. He's honestly one of the most underrated players still, I think, in the continent, the England-born man. Arokadare, that's an interesting one. I know he scored recently for Nigeria, but it's not a good place to be at Wolves at the moment. I don't even think he's playing for Wolves. Strand Larsen occupies that centre-forward position. They've gone for Arokadare. I guess at international level he's been good. It shows a difference between club and country, really. If you're playing well, every time your manager picks you, every time Eric Schell picks you, he's not that bothered what happens with Arokadare at Wolves. He's still bringing him in. Osimhen, of course, is the main guy. Chukwueze's not had that much game time either, especially since moving to Fulham. He's in this list. And in the midfield, of course, indeed, he's going to be there. Frank Onyeka's going to be there. When Iwobi has very much become a central midfield player in recent years. Of course, once upon a time, he was a winger when he was an Arsenal player. But what about Raphael Onyedika, the Bruges man? They've had some good games, particularly in the Champions League, and he's brought Onyedika back into this squad. So clearly the manager not afraid to make big calls, despite it being such a big match. So that squad, on paper and I think on the pitch, is more than good enough to beat Gabon. The question is, are they going to beat Cameroon or DR Congo in the final? Obviously, that defence will get tested against the likes of Aubameyang and Boanga and Lamina. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be easier by any stretch. In Nigeria, I just don't see how they would have got into those playoffs last second, you know, smashing Benin, who were nearly at the World Cup themselves by 4, pipping Burkina Faso to the post by 1 spot. They didn't do all that just to then go and lose to Gabon in Rabat. I think all the momentum is with Nigeria. I think they're going to beat Gabon with this team. Of course, Eric Schell still unbeaten in these qualifiers. Nigeria against Cameroon or Congo. I'd guess Congo at this point. Nigeria-Congo would be a very close game. And a guy like Osimhen might be the difference if a big chance falls to him, because, of course, Congo haven't got a Wissa fit at the moment. Wissa's going to be out. But, of course, I'm sure Eric Schell will be telling that squad one game at a time, look at Gabon only, because even if they beat Gabon, they've got Cameroon or Congo, and then after that, they've probably got an Iraq or a UAE or a Bolivia to play next year as well. But Nigeria won't care about all that. The fact that they're in the hat and in this position is what they're excited about. They'd much rather be playing these games in Morocco than playing a friendly. If we get the Nigeria-Cameroon final, that is going to be box office. That West African derby, I think it's going to be absolute box office if we get to Nigeria Cameroon. It was a blockbuster game they had at AFCON a few years ago, the 3-2 in the last 16. That'd be amazing. Of course, Congo wouldn't want that to happen. They're going to want to win themselves. But when you look at this list, I think whoever Nigeria picked would be more than good enough to get over the line. In these playoffs, you're not playing home and away, one-off games. It might even be penalties. You've just got to be doing the job on the night. And I think Nigeria have played so many big games recently. The couple of games they had last time out were big games to get into the playoffs. AFCON semi-finals, AFCON final against South Africa in the semi, against Ivory Coast in the final. Those are big games. Gabon don't have that much big game experience. Of course, Aubameyang has been very good in the qualifying. They've got 25 points out of 30, Gabon, which is, you can't really look down upon that. But I think there's enough here for Nigeria to win. I think Osimhen, in the form of his life, is going to drag Nigeria through these playoffs. So that's the Nigeria list. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Anyone here you think should be picked that's not? And it's going to be cracking games. Your continent's eyes will be looking at these games between Nigeria and Gabon and Cameroon and DR Congo, of course. So 13th of November, a 4 p.m. UK kickoff for this one. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you next time.